What's good with you? How's everybody doing right now? You know what we came to talk about. Came to talk about this Chris. I was about to say Chris. Yes, this Chris Rock Netflix special. Hope everybody got to see it. It's called Selective Outrage. I saw it. I personally liked it because I've been a fan of comedians my whole life, and I understand comedy. But I just want to do what everybody through the net has been talking about since this special dropped, and I want to hear some feedback from everybody up in the comments. Please tell me how you feel. But here's the thing. Here's the deal that we're going to break with each other. Here's a deal we're going to broker, with each other. If you did see the special, please stop creating an opinion off of stuff that you heard other people said and you saw some clips. Seeing the clips does not define what seeing the special is at all. I'm going to disagree with you on your opinion base if you saw it or if you didn't see it, but no matter what, you have to have something founded upon something, meaning seeing the special. See the special, run this video back later, and then see what I discovered. But I most definitely had to check out some things and see what people were for real talking about on the internet after this special. Based on a lot of stuff that I read, there's a whole bunch of Team Chris Rock out there, and there's a whole bunch of Team Will+Jada out there. And it feels like last year's issue literally just got rehashed in a lot of ways. Now, again, if you've seen the special, welcome to the conversation. If you haven't seen the special, please go see the special, then run this back. I'm going to go over a couple things that I saw, and we're going to check it out. Let's see. Now, here's some things I've seen that were not favorable in Chris' favor in terms of people's opinions. D.L. Hughley, this is favorable, D.L. Hughley said, it's ironic that some people are saying that Chris Rock over, stop talking about it because it happened a long time ago. Are the same people who get mad when people say we should stop talking about slavery and get over it because it happened a long time ago. That's D.L. Hughley's opinion. Second, young lady followed up by saying, amen. Chris Rock was silent about the whole thing for almost a year. I thought he came back superbly at Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. He got them good in his show. I loved it. Why would he get over something so humiliated? That live video will live in infamy. That's a fact. Chris Rock verbally slapping Will Smith on stage. Funny jokes usually have an element of truth to them. Otherwise, it wouldn't be funny. If someone is making fun of you and your first response is to physically attack them, you are only revealing your own insecurities as a person. That is a fact. I'm not going to lie. I agree with that. Finally, Chris Rock responded to Will Smith slapping him at the Oscars and did not hold back. This man was emasculated on national television. Yeah, he was. And apology wasn't enough. Nah, man. Chris was taking his revenge on Will+Jada. I'm not gonna lie, it low-key felt like that. The Fat Book Lover says, Chris Rock, she said, a quote, the biggest addiction in America is attention. Everybody wants attention. The easiest way to get attention is to be the victim. He's not lying. Victimhood is starting to get really old. I think a double entendre on Chris's part, but really, let's talk about it. Now, let's hear the other side of the issue that I saw. From what I've seen of Chris Rock's special, he simply could have gone to a therapist. The fact that we don't require comedy specials to be comprised of actual comedy anymore is starting to bother me. Diatribes masquerading as jokes, comedy is cooked. I'm sorry, listen, even if I disagreed with everything that Chris Rock said in his special, it is comedy, and I think that people, don't understand that comedy has truth in it, and that truth has humor attached. Now, my sense of humor might not be your sense of humor. Now, again, I'm not picking a side. I'm just saying, to say the fact that we don't require comedy specials to be comprised of actual comedy anymore is starting to bother me. Your comedy may not be somebody else's comedy. That's one comment that I saw, and it really just threw me off when I read that. But outside of that, tell me how you feel in the comments about this special Collective Outrage on Netflix. I know people still sharing passwords and stuff like that. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. You have seen it. I would like to hear your feedback. Now let's get into some other things that I saw, especially on this internet front when it comes to this special that I really want to relate on. Check this out. Let me share this right here. Here's something I saw.
Chris Rock calling Jada Pinkett out of her name, using the B word on several occasions. He clearly wasn't playing. And in this day and age and the sensitive times that we're living in and what have you, this is one of those moments, ladies and gentlemen, that everybody got to step back and take it. He was the one that was slapped. He was the one that was slapped by her husband. Chris Rock was making the statement that she instigated it. She played a role in instigating it. He definitely called Will Smith the B word because, again, without calling anybody any names, because I'm certainly not calling Will Smith or Jada Pinkett Smith that. But the bottom line is that, yeah, we've been cheated on. People have been cheated on. People have been betrayed. Chris Rock is absolutely right about that.
I mean, can you deny it? Let's be honest. That again, if you saw the special, you'll understand the whole cheated on and lied on was intro to one of the punchlines. So you gotta watch the special to understand it, but that is an absolute fact.
Most people have. Absolutely true. But we don't get interviewed by the person who cheated on us.
That's the bar. That's the bar. I wish I had a shot or explosion blast to play because that was the bar. That was the absolute bar in that set. Again, for those who've seen the special Selective Outrage, check it out. For those who haven't, please go check it out. This is a great discussion. I'll play some more things that I most definitely saw, and I want to share. And I want to hear everybody's follow up behind it. And here's something I saw.
It just goes to show how patient and smart Chris Rock is.
But listen, I could not have that degree of patience at all. I could not have that degree of patience from any semblance of my imagination. I can never have that degree of patience when it comes to catching a slap like that in the face and then going about my life. Like literally, the level of patience is crazy.
If someone had hit me publicly, the next day I would have been in front of every camera like, look at this, I'm bruised.
I'm not gonna lie. When the incident happened, I was in the couch. I looked over my wife. I was like, yo, I am concerned about Will Smith's safety. Like, is he going to an after party? What is he doing? Is he getting his award and going home? How is that going to go? I'm not going to lie. I would have expected that thing to go totally deaf, but then I come from a different environment than Jerry O'Connell does.
He did this. He did this. Where's my money? He was patient.
Yeah.
He waited an entire year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
now, I mean, the Oscars are 1 week away, and all we can talk
Good
about
timing.
is this Chris Rock special.
That is perfect timing. I'm not going to lie. Think about it. I've been saying this since the special dropped to a whole bunch of people that's been on the phone with me. Nah, why could he do that? Nah, this is mad. Oh, fam, think about it. Everybody wants to hear Chris Rock talk about it, right? He had that special. He told people at the top of the special, I'm not even going to talk about it before this. And then he was doing stage shows. He's like, I'm not going to talk about it. Your man waited for the big Netflix bag. From a business standpoint, I'm not going to hold you. That's fire. He's like, yo, everybody want to hear how I feel? Great. I'm going to get a streaming entity to pay me a big monster bag so I can say how I feel and get everybody to tune in. That's literally what occurred.
Yeah.
That's literally what occurred. But in the meantime, for those of you here, please tell me how you feel about all this stuff going on. Are you Team Will+Jada? Are you Team Chris Rock? Whatever it is. If you saw Selective Outrage, how you feel about this, at the end of the day, two things are true, and they don't even need an opinion or an argument. Chris Rock was slapped. This was a year ago, and Chris Rock did a special, and he doesn't come. Be a comedian. Those are three facts. We can all agree on those three facts. Now, if you don't agree on his type of comedy, or you don't think that's comedy like art is subjective. That is an absolute fact. I may think something is super hilarious. You may think something is corny as ever. But that's subjective. Now, nothing's going to happen to their careers. I don't think personally something's going to happen to their careers at all. I think they're going to move on. My concern with this whole debacle, is that there's safety, because there's ego involved. And we are men. All men have egos. We have super duper huge egos for no apparent reason. None. And how does Will feel about watching this special? He may laugh it off. How does Chris feel about speaking his truth and then seeing the response of people saying, oh, you called Jada a B. Oh, see, Jada was right. Oh, I saw the tweets and, Will needs to smack him again. I've seen a whole tweet, a whole opinions. And I'm like, well, everybody is talking strongly about how they feel about both sides of the argument. But at the end of the day, both Will Smith and Chris Rock are super paid and they can live their lives. My goal is for there to be peace. Again, this is ego. I always worry about ego because being in my age group, I grew up in the era of Tupac and Biggie, and a couple of songs later, they're both not here. And that's what I'm always concerned about when it comes to two high-profile celebrities and their ego being bruised on either side. Like, most people don't see things like that. Most people like to stoke the flames of the fire on Will's side. Will and Jada are this and that. Most people try to flip it on Chris Rock's side. Yo, Chris Rock is a this and that. I'll be honest, like I said, the night it happened, I looked at my wife and I was like, yo, is Will Smith have a safety plan? Because that is the most ego bruisingest, that's not the word bruising this, but that is the most ego destroying incident that can happen to another man. Like the tweet said, that's the one for me. And like Chris Rock got it off his chest. Will Smith apologized like 8-10 months ago or something like that. That was last year. My just prayer is that ego does not make this go left really fast, because at the end of the day, the two things that have removed people from the breathing space is ego and jealousy. And right now, this whole situation, everybody's opinions, everybody's stoking the fire of who they got and who's justified and what. I just want everything to be peaceful. Let me run some other things that I saw online, and I want to get some of your feedback on the other side. I've been seeing a lot of things online about this issue. Check this out. Right now, the Atlanta Star posted, quote, one of his quotes from the special: "She just has just as much money as me." Chris Rock says his ex-wife is just as wealthy as he is, and she doesn't tell jokes. Now, again, with this whole special, if for those who saw the special, you know, Chris Rock front-loaded a bunch of other comedy and stuff like that. He just did his regular comedy thing. Then he shared how he felt about the Will Smith and the incident at the last 10 minutes. And he talked about he had jokes about Meghan Markle, you know, jokes about his life, his comedic expression, ta-da-da-da-da. And everybody's up in arms. Oh my God, I can say that about Meghan. See, we knew Chris Rock was at this. Oh my God, how can he say this about his wife? See, like, again, people are so dang sensitive. So, and listen, you don't believe me, you think I'm opinionated, let's see what people are talking about in this Atlanta publication. Real talk, let's see what people are talking about. And you can see that I'm not tripping. Let's go through it. This lady named Ruth, he's so bitter, and that's why he picks on women like Jada. Wow. Again, how do we know what he does? He's a comedian. Well, again, I'm not going to go into that diatribe. We're never going to get into opinionated wars. Second, this guy says, I love Jada is my girl, but something happened in the last 20 years. Again, somebody's opinion, no proof. Andrea says, gotta love Chris. It's actually a funny take on divorce. He could have been bitter, but sees the humor in it. That's what comedians do. Somebody said, only the last 8 minutes were good. I guess the slap really did benefit his career. Again, everybody got an opinion. Somebody else posted he could have kept all his money if he was a better man and husband. Again, somebody else says the joke about his wife being rich had nothing to do with the divorce. He was making a comparison. See, the thing is, again, think about this. People are going in. Look at this, like hundreds of comments. People are going in. They either for Chris, against Chris, saying he deserved it. First of all, nobody deserves to go through a divorce when your family is separated. But again, everybody want to pick a side. Everybody want to pick a side. Everybody want to have an opinion. My thing is, anytime I do a show, I'm just going to give a fair and balanced overview. Not fair and balanced as far as my perception. I'm just going to say, somebody said this here, somebody said this here. Let's come to a consensus. At the end of the day, you can feel strongly all you want, but the facts still remain. Chris Rock is rich and successful. Will Smith is rich and successful. Jada Pinkett is rich and successful. All of us middle class, upper middle class folk, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just talking in the comments, and ain't none of this paying our bills. Listen, can we get an amen? Ain't none of this is paying our bills. Yes, you might be pro keep my wife's name out your blanking mouth. You might be pro that, or you might be pro he got embarrassed. But at the end of the day, I really posted this video just to share some things I saw online. Like, real talk, how is this putting money in your pocket? Like, for the people that are really bitter in the comments, how is this putting money in your pocket? Let me just see some comments that I'm seeing right here. Takia Howard, reading Will Smith book explains a lot. Yup, I've heard that a lot. But then again, because I've seen it in the comments, yeah, it explains a lot about his childhood. And yes, people make mistakes. But does Chris Rock deserve the vitriol since he was the victim? That's a perspective. Derek Carson says, amen. So Takia, if you read the book, for sure. If you read the book, put some feedback in the comments. Give us again. I'm not asking you to read the book for us. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. But I'm saying if you want to drop off from there. But at the end of the day, real talk. Just think about what people have said. Just look at this so far. From what I see of his special, he simply should have gone through a therapist. That's an opinion. We definitely did not watch the same special. He seemed like a traumatized man trying to deal with his pain on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, tell me what comedian doesn't deal with their trauma on stage? White, black, gay, straight, transgender, no matter what cultural or sexual preference you come from, every comedian deals with their trauma on stage. And like the young lady responded, comedy is subjective. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And then that gets to my earlier point. What you may think is funny, I might think is corny, and vice versa. And going back on these slides, the young lady who wrote the 1619 Project posted, I stopped messing with him when he did the entire bit about black people versus N-words, and he didn't mind one bit that his audience was heavily colonizer. We'll say that. So he can miss us with that. Okay. And this guy named David Dennis says, the most Chris Rock thing about all of this is him screaming that you don't fight in front of white people, but not even considering to make jokes about a black woman in her hair in front of white people. Now, you notice the trends, like peep this. Let's see the trend lines. Let me read a comment though. Takia Howard, she says it was ego driven. You mean Will Smith's slap or Chris's response? Because I think the slap was ego driven. You know, she wrote it defines his idea of masculinity. I think she's talking about Will Smith. Yeah. And again, he made a mistake. Everybody's entitled to. Will Smith is entitled to make a mistake. That is a fact. That is a fact for sure. What's up, Lord? What's good? Everybody, please put in the comments how you feel about this debacle. Like, because right now the whole internet is blowing up and they're like saying Chris is a this and he's a bad person. You should never do this. And I'm thinking to myself, I grew up on comedians. Like, why? When can comedians stop being comedians? So you mean to tell me anytime a comedy special where somebody tells their truth and makes it funny and does what they normally do, being a comedian, like Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle made jokes about an experience that he had with somebody of the transgender community, and he really drove home the point about his relationship with a transgender female, and then he got destroyed for it. Think about it. Cancel culture doesn't like comedians because comedians make humor, not maliciously, make humor about hard life ails, and everybody got a problem with it. Everybody got a problem with it. They're comedians. They're not politicians. They're not perfect people. They're not pastors. They're not in ministries. They're comedians. Like, that's the thing that's what I will say. That's the thing that's really annoying me about the response to this whole Chris Rock special. Why is everybody acting like, oh my God, Chris Rock shouldn't have said that. How dare he? Oh, he doesn't defend black women. Like, and then all of these narratives. A, he hates black women because he made his head in a G.I. Jane joke. That's a narrative. B, they try to say he hates black women because he got at Meghan Markle and his wife. And then again, narrative. Does anybody know Chris personally that's creating these narratives? 95% no. 95% no. Lauren says that special was mega dope. I agree. Everybody just want to say stupid stuff as an excuse to hate Chris. Yeah, because everybody hates Chris. Yo, that's a fact. He also said this era is too soft and sensitive. I agree with that. This whole era is adverse to people with polar opposite opinions. And it just seems like, again, I'm not going to use the catchphrases that everybody using that, like woke or cancel culture and all these little no, forget the catchphrase. I'm going to keep it simple. I grew up in the Archie Bunker and the Jeffersons era. If you're in your 40s, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not in your 40s and you like 20 or you like whatever, you like 20s and your 30s, go to YouTube and look up Archie Bunker episodes and the Jefferson full episodes. I grew up in that era. You know what those two shows are about? Archie Bunker is a great legendary series about a racist white old guy and his wife and their kids adjusting to the integrating world, the new world of integration instead of segregation. Where on the flip side, the Jeffersons moved on up to a better neighborhood. They're rich, and they're a black family with a racist main character who dislikes white people, but it was all comedy. And it's George Johnson and Bunker came together. It was hilarious. Let me tell you, I grew up in that era where you can find humor in the harsh realities of life. But this era, you can't make a joke. You can't do a song. You can't have an opinion that's contrary to following the crowd. And it seems like everybody on the internet, everybody, they want everybody to agree with them. Why do you want everybody to agree with you? Everybody's not, I put it on my show earlier this morning, my morning motivation show. Everybody's not supposed to be your friend. Everybody is not supposed to agree with you. And guess what? If I have an opinion that you don't like, that doesn't give you the right to say, oh, did you hear what he said? That's what the internet is. Did you hear what he said? Let's cancel him. Let's cancel him. Let's create a whole bunch of narratives and put it on him so that everybody dislikes him because I disagree with his opinion. If we live in a society where nobody doesn't have a different opinion, then guess what the society will be? A bunch of followers. That's a fact. Now, again, I'm saying that to say that if whatever side I was to choose, if I was to agree totally with Chris Rock, or if I was to agree totally with Will's actions and what Jada said, no matter what the side, isn't everybody entitled to their opinion? And then here we go with people, the naysayers. Yeah, they are entitled to their opinion, but they can't weaponize their platform. Tell me a platform that doesn't speak their truth. And then I'll show you an entire internet where everybody says, if you have an opinion, they say, oh, you're trying to weaponize it against me. No, I have an opinion. You know what I'm saying? I have an opinion. Let me read what Law says. Everybody knew what the odds was. This was a joke because people were laughing that night, and Chris and Will used the crack at each other for you. I don't believe that. I'm not gonna lie, I don't believe you said what there. And because in our era we had great writers. Yeah, that is a fact. In our era we did have great writers. But this is what I want to share with everybody. Almost definitely the takeaway. Real talk, because I want to share a couple more things. Like the takeaway from this. Check this out. This is a good mindset to have towards this whole issue, and Miss Pat did it perfectly. Let me share this. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, that is the best approach to have with the situation, especially a celebrity. That right there to me is the best mindset to have. We ain't Chris Rock, we ain't Will Smith or Jada. We don't know what they thinking for real. We heard what Chris felt. He put the collective outrage. We heard what Will said, what Jada said. At the end of the day, how are people arguing really taken away from what we're doing? What did you say to Kia? You said you can't hear it? Oh, you couldn't hear it? That's horrible. That was fire. Oh, all right. Just keep me in the comments. You can hear it. Let me share something else right quick for everybody to see. Let me share this. Okay, let me see what it says under this post. Let's check some more comments and see what people are talking about Chris Rock. Somebody said, perfect comeback. He should have slapped the guy who was, wow, that's blatant, who was messing with his wife because that's who he's mad at, instead of taking it out on the guy presenting the Oscars. Somebody said Chris Rock was egging him on, calling him Richard. Look at this. I'm reading the sea of opinions, the sea of narratives that everybody got. Somebody said Will is a disgrace to all black. Oh, you're dragging it. Somebody said the slap made Chris a lot of money. Again, opinion, we can't ever tell. Somebody said, did Chris Rock ever apologize for the joke he made? Again, if a comedian, and I'm going to say this, if a comedian starts to have to keep on apologizing for every joke he made, he can't be a comedian, because comedians aren't here to make everybody agree with them. I'm sorry. Somebody said it looks good on Will. Will did it on prime time. Keep it up. Some people, you know how sometimes you read comments and you be like, yo, what is the reading level of the people, or comprehension level of some people that just put comments? You just like, what is your point? You ever thought about the comments? You be like, yo, what is your point? Somebody said, I can't stand Chris Rock, but was nonplussed at Will Smith's actions. Again, where is the reading comprehension level? I don't agree with this. That's bull. I guarantee you, if the one doing the joke was The Rock, Will Smith, everybody said that a million times. Wow, look at this again. You know how they say the phrase? Let me close. You know the phrase? Don't read the comments. This is the perfect example. You know, it was hard for me to even get through those comments. It's hard for me to even get through those comments. Yo, what's up, Harrison Family Values? Yeah, we live. Finally, like a year later, everybody follow Harrison Family Values up in here. Everybody follow Harrison Family Values. My name is Khalif Wins. If you want to support my channel, please hit up the Cash App, $ Khalif Wins. We are live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live throughout. You know the vibes. I'm just be talking about this Chris Rock, Will Smith issues. You know what I'm saying? If you want to come in the chat, tell me. I'll most definitely send you a message. If you want to come up in the chat, tell me, and I'll most definitely invite you because I do want to have a conversation. I know if Taki is up in here, she said, I can't hear it. Well, guess what? Come on in the chat. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Intellectual queen up in here. And I'll most definitely share the link. Put it in the comments if you want to come up in the chat. Matter of fact, Harrison Values, I most definitely want you in the chat. That is a fact. I most definitely want you in the chat. Lauren says, thank God we haven't changed. Folks who are extra sensitive can't hang around us. Yeah, listen, I will be honest with you. No matter what state you from, hood you from, country you from, if you don't have a sense of humor, or if you can't take a joke, you can't hang around a particular degree of people like me. Did I think Chris Rock's special was funny? Yes, because I related it to certain aspects. Did I think some of the jokes weren't funny? Yes, because every comedian is not going to make me laugh. Only comedian that can make me laugh from start to finish is Richard Pryor, rest in peace. Real talk. And Richard, listen, and think about that. Let's talk about that. If Richard Pryor was like 25 years old, if Eddie Murphy was like 19 years old today, and they were doing stand-up, do you understand how the internet would explode? Oh my God, how could Eddie say what he said? Oh, how can Richard say what he said? Yo, can you just let a comedian? Real talk. Let a comedian, and Paul Mooney as well, even though there's some probably things about Paul Mooney I'm not going to bring up. He's a great comedian, great writer, but look it up if you guys don't know. There's a lot of problematic Paul Mooney. I'm not going to co-sign anymore, even though I met him on a couple occasions. But if you want to come up in the stream, most definitely tell me. I'm going to copy this, send this to y'all. I'm going to put this in the comment. If you want to come up in the stream, holla at me so you can come up. I'll put it directly in the comments on my YouTube. If you want to come up in the stream, come up. Let's discuss this. But, you know, let me go through a couple more things so I can just show these varied opinions when it comes to the whole issue. For sure. Let's see what USA Today is talking about. Okay, the article. Chris Rock becomes a sad old man in clouds in a live Netflix special. Let's see what they talk about. Let's see what this writer said. The writer said, perhaps Chris Rock should title his new Netflix stand-up special, Get Off My Lawn. I don't even get the joke. That's the tone Rock represented in selective outrage. Somebody, the writer wrote, the comedian isn't a young kid he once was, working his way up through Saturday Night Live. He started sounding like the guy at the end of the block screaming about kids these days and quote outrage. A flimsy, wow, flaccid. Why do certain writers try to use flaccid to really get at somebody? A flimsy, flaccid special that gained nothing from being live other than providing publicity for Netflix for his long-awaited comments about Will Smith. Again, we're reading what a writer wrote. The writer said, it is a sad, predictable trajectory for the comedian, certainly one of the all-time greats, who previously used his microphone to slice and dice the world around him. See that line right there? This line right there. This is what I'm talking about. Read that line. It says, the writer said it's a sad, predictable trajectory for the comedian, one of the all-time greats, who previously used his microphone to slice and dice the world around him. Okay. I'll read further. What did it say? The writer said, mind you, the same writer put up review. Chris Rock be that man for yelling at the clouds in a live Netflix special by Miss Kelly Lawler from USA Today. This is the paragraph right here. She said, it's a sad, predictable trajectory for the comedian, certainly one of the all-time greats, who previously used his microphone to slice and dice the world around him. His observational comedy was deeply subversive and incisive. He could knock you over with his jokes because they were relatable and honest. But once you become part of the establishment, you can't really make the jokes about it anymore. Now, listen. I'm going to say this. Listen, look at the wording. Look what the writer said. The writer said sounds like a sad old man, but then look at the depiction of who they believe that Chris Rock is based on the special currently. She said he previously used his microphone to slice and dice the world around him. He got smacked in the face. He's literally use comedy to slice and dice the seriousness that they issue and the trauma from it. Then that other line, she said his observational comedy was deeply subversive and incisive, and he can knock you over with his jokes because they were relatable and honest. Tell me how the things that he talked about in the special weren't relatable and honest if you're a parent. Relatable and honest if you were divorced. Relatable and honest with the feelings about being a black man going to neighborhoods and the treatment of dark skinned black folk and light skinned black folk and people who are fair skinned. That's relatable and honest. And sorry, Kelly, I think that you don't think it's relatable and honest because Kelly, no shot, you looking like you're melanin deficient. I'm not gonna hold you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, we as a black man, I'm just going to tell you straight up right now, you can't tell me if something's not relatable honest when it comes from a black comedian and you are melanin deficient. Can I get an amen with that? Real talk. You know what I'm saying? But think about what that writer said. Why is everybody? I'm gonna add Kia on that video. We don't want to see no avatar. Get up on the video, Kia. Get up on that video. Talk to me. I can't see you. Oh, snap. Got the hell in the shade. You heard? Laid in the shade. Yo, listen here.
I'm not.
Oh, hold on. You coming back from a date with the hubby? What's going on? Lips all glossed up, son? What's up with this? You got the God is Good t-shirt. I've seen a bonnet mode at 8 a.m. when the morning motivation show happened every Mondays through Wednesdays at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. But what's going on?
How you doing?
How you doing? I know you. Listen, Intellectual Don. That's the nickname for you. Everybody, this is Takia, Queen Kia in Brooklyn. You know the vibes. How does it feel? You see the difference? You see the energy on this platform versus the other. We ain't going shade versus that TT platform. You see how it's different up in this. It's a wide space. We can move. Move on and breathe. Instead of just on the camera.
Yes, I'm trying to fix it and make it bigger, but it ain't happening.
Pause. That's what she said.
Oh,
Pause.
that's funny.
Yeah, you just did the layup. You did the layup with that.
You got me. Okay, it worked. I fixed it.
All right, cool. I fixed it. It worked.
Fixed it.
All right, so go ahead. I know you got a lot to talk about with this. Let it go to Kim.
So I had the pleasure of reading the book, Will Smith's book, and because I analyze authors and I analyze just writers in general, it definitely explains why he did what he did and how when at being a kid and how he was emasculated by his abusive father and now having a wife. The movie he did when he was supposed to be the father of Serena and Zena Williams. And he had to take on a masculine role as a father, protecting not only his girl children, but his wife, something that he didn't do throughout his own marriage with Jada Pinkett. So knowing that Jada was going through what she was going through with alopecia, and then a man is up there talking negatively about your wife, he felt compelled to defend his masculinity and own his role within his household by defending his wife. Do I agree on how he did it? No. There's always a way to exercise your masculinity without putting yourself on blast or just putting yourself on a stage and embarrassing yourself in that kind of way in front of national television. He didn't have to do it that way. He could have retaliated, or he could have even had a conversation with Chris Rock after. So
I don't think he had the emotional fortitude to even
probably not, but that's where emotional maturity come in. Usually when somebody is traumatized in some kind of way, you can't tell them how to react to trauma.
And
he reacted.
I don't think Will Smith should be relitigated for what happened a year ago. I think that Chris Rock needed to get this special off his chest the way that Will Smith needed to get that reaction from his childhood trauma off his chest. It was bad right off his chest. Yes. But it's two men hurt reacting. And that's my problem with the internet responses. They're trying to cancel Chris Rock. They're trying to say that he's anti-black man, anti-this. And then people are still trying to make Will Smith
the name calling. When you said before, like, don't read the comments, you start to realize how small-minded people really are. when you read comments. I
Facts.
do not. That's the main reason I don't like texting. That's one of the main reasons I don't like texting. And then at the same time, like what you said about the one that lacks melanin, as much as they try to claim that they're not, I would say racist, prejudiced, whatever the case may be, it's in their bloodstream. They can't help it. It's unconscious behavior. So,
And not everybody of the colonial tribe, but most people who are in influence in those spaces, yes.
yes, it's unconscious. You don't even know that you're doing it.
Look at Lauren says, "Yep, she's right." Like I'm not gonna lie.
It's the microaggressions. Just like how could you just dismiss somebody's experience because you've never experienced it?
Yeah, like let's go back to that. I want to read that paragraph once again. I'm gonna share that one point. No, because it's super the duper facts. Let me all right, let me go back to it. All right, boom. You see this? The highlight right here. Do you see that on screen?
I can see it on the screen, but can I actually see it? No. It's too small for me to read it.
Oh, sorry. I'm a glasses wearer myself. All right,
Yeah.
She said, it is sad, predictable. It's a sad, predictable trajectory for the comedian. Certainly one of the all-time greats who previously used his microphone to slice and dice the world around him. His observational comedy was deeply subversive and incisive. He could knock you over with his jokes because they were relatable and honest. But once you become part of the establishment, you can't really make jokes about it anymore. Let me read further. She wrote, it was embarrassing to watch Rock complain about the kids with their wokeness and their social media and their feelings. Boo-boo for them, Rock says. They don't have problems. Not like Rock, who was slapped at the Oscars last year. He may have $1 million, but he, quote, identifies as poor. She goes on to say, the problem is not that Rock made jokes about young people or transgender people or women or the Duchess Meghan. It's that he made bad jokes about them. He doesn't have to like the people he talks about. Heck, he doesn't even have to like anyone. But if he's going to spend 5 minutes on a bit about what might happen if one of his parents was transgender, the punchline has to be better than, quote, wouldn't that be insane? If you're going to joke about the A word, I'm not going to say in this platform, and killing, the punchlines have to be better than, quote, children are annoying. If he is going to joke about Jada Pinkett Smith and, quote, extensively address the Oxford slap, the punchline has to be better than calling her a gender slur over and over and over again. Now, here's my thing. Here's my issue with this. If you're not first of all, if you're a comedian, you can't criticize somebody's act unless it's constructive. If you're not a comedian, then why are you trying to teach who you refer to as an all-time great how to do comedy and set up their punchlines? Second, the word B, and I'm going to say this to these platforms, is literally a unisex term. I say this all the time. B is a unisex term. We have BAN, if you know what that is. You know what I'm saying? If you know what that is. You say, hey, you ain't nothing but a you know what that is. Or B is what a lot of men for generations and decades have used is what unisex term. So when he says he was a this, he was a that, he was a that, and she is a that, like people outside of our culture thinks that it's always anti-woman or anti-black woman if a black man used that against a black woman. Now, I'm not shooting bail for the dudes that are chauvinists blatantly that, hey, superiority complex, use B word and beat you over the head with it. But yeah.
So to comment on that, just like how I would say the urban culture has adapted to the nigger term, we took it and decided we wanted to use it as a term of endearment, even though a lot of people just disagree with the fact that Black people are using the N-word. It is to remove the negativity of the word, and we use it amongst each other within the culture. That falls in the same category with the word, the V word with the female dog. Because us females, and I'm gonna include myself, I'm from Brooklyn, I be calling my homegirls all day. and it's not offensive. Now, if it's said in a particular way, the tone is everything. And that determines how it's being used. Are you trying to use it in a term of endearment to embrace, or are you just saying it to hurt? And people have to know how to differentiate that. Now, to really talk about comedians, what happened to freedom of speech? I'm sorry, but What happened to freedom of speech? Because at the end of the day, it's not funny anymore if you got to be politically correct.
At all.
Comedians are actually saying things that people are thinking.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it because I don't want to be judged. But the whole point of the laughing aspect is to say something that others are thinking that refuse to say it. Now you want to judge them for making you laugh? And just because they don't make everybody laugh, don't mean takes away the fact that it was still a joke.
Mm-hmm. You ain't lying. Listen, you ain't lying. Matter of fact, I always like to go to different publications because every publication has their own opinion. I went from USA Today to an Atlanta publication, and I'm not going to hold you. Like, everybody, if you're famous or you're trying to be in media or you're trying to do something that revolves around a particular form of press, everybody is going to have such an opinion for two reasons. You can tell me how you feel about this, Kia. And it's wild because your name is on the screen now. I have to call you a particular government. So not like the other apps. It can be something crazy. Kia, sorry, Kia. I'm gonna shut my mouth now because I'm exposing governments. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But when you want to do something important, there's two layers of forces. Number one, the people who never had the balls to go to those heights like you went to. Anybody gets any form of fame, small or large. You got to deal with the people that hate you for being successful because they wish they was you. That's that one layer. The second one is there are people who are born in society, true story, who thrive off of hating on people because they have nothing going on in their lives.
Oh, yeah.
Now, cancel is an effective tool for somebody like a Weinstein. See, again, now I can hear the haters now. Oh, how can you assign what cancel culture is good for? Because a lot of stuff that I've been reading about this was by people who are melanin deficient, if you know what you know, giving their opinion on things, misreading the whole cultural description of how we describe things, and acting like they've never seen a Chris Rock special. This kind of reminds me when, rest in peace, Bernie Mac was alive, and he did a campaign stop for Obama. And Obama's staff lost their mind. Oh my God, how can Bernie Mac say that? And Bernie Mac's people's like, you hired Bernie Mac. You hired Bernie Mac. So I know we want to get something in the backdrop. Anybody wants to come to the conversation, the link is in the YouTube comments. But you said something that's very important. I want to touch right back to, and then I want to show you a couple of tweets that I introduced in the beginning and see your feedback off of it. You said comedians can't comedian anymore.
Yes. I mean, yes. Things was different. Now it's like everybody is so sensitive. Not saying that they're sensitive, but they are.
They're sensitive.
They're sensitive. And I guess I'm going to just say some of my, like-minded melanin people, we had to grow tough skin. Baby, stop. We had to grow tough skin because we were always verbally attacked. So the sensitivity is not there. But for those that was privileged to live in this world without being attacked on a regular basis for some reason is extremely sensitive. Watch your mouth. Don't say this, or we're going to come at you with pitchforks. And
digital pitchforks.
But yes, we're coming for you. And that's just so, it's like you're still trying to silence us.
Mm-hmm.
Some way, somehow, you're still trying to silence us. Why do a comedian have to apologize for telling a joke? And the thing about it is, if it hurt you that much what they said, maybe because what they said was true.
Exactly.
And you don't want the world to know it's true. Your feathers was ruffled. You need to just learn to have a better poker face. That's all.
Yeah, it's like when you found out you had to use deodorant as a kid and somebody in the classroom in elementary school said, man, somebody stink. And then you get tight. What you talking about? Somebody stink. And then you go to the bathroom. Oh, snap. It's me. I'm sensitive. Maybe I stink. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm reflecting personal past trauma. It has happened to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, like you, Kia, when you go through and do your thing and you get pressed, I can see it now. Oh, she thinks she. Like, we saw it when we had a live.
Yes.
We had a live on TikTok.
I am constantly, and you know what? I was just having this conversation today. I'm constantly, and I don't subscribe to nobody's BS behavior. It don't matter if it's male, female, horse, cat, dog. It don't matter. If it's BS, I'm going to call it like I see it. And when I say something about men, I get attacked. When I say something about women, I get attacked. And I was just like, it really bothered me because being a woman and dealing with some of the things that I dealt with, learning some of the things that I have learned, and reading some of the things that I have read, it hurts my heart to constantly be told that I don't believe what you're saying. That can't be true. Oh, what you're saying is a lie. Who wants? I don't want to hear that anymore. I'm tired. The attack is real.
Oh, say that again.
The attacks are real. So I'm not exempt. I get attacked all the time.
Check this out. Gianna says, listen, they're about to take comedy out of a comedian. I actually want you to meet her. Gianna, I put the link in the comments. Come in the convo. I actually want you two to meet because you guys are both of like minds. For sure, for sure. She said, listen, they're about to take the comedy out of a comedian because he was hilarious. I thought, again, we grew up on Martin and Fresh Prince. Bernie Mac show. I grew up, I'm older. I'm not gonna go there online. So anyway, I grew up on the Jeffersons, Archie Bunker. I grew up on the old school era. I like comedy like that. I watch some comedians who I don't agree with nothing about, but they funny. I don't agree with their political affiliation. It's just funny, and everybody needs to relax and laugh.
I appreciate the comedians that don't give a rat's
booty.
Yes, I like Dave Chappelle. I like Dave Chappelle. I think he's so real and raw. I actually liked Cat Williams. I'm about to go to a comedy show tomorrow. Like, I love to sit amongst people and laugh.
Yep.
And what they're trying to do is kill us off because laughter just makes people look young. I don't know, but if y'all ain't realized, black don't crack. So with that being said, the people that lack melanin don't want you to laugh anymore. They want to take that away because they want us to age. That's not happening. We'll laugh at our own pain, okay?
We've done it for years, for decades, for generations, for hundreds of years. If you grew up in any bad or impoverished neighborhood, like how Brooklyn used to be in the 90s and 80s, my memories, pardon me for being so old, you get on that stoop, your mama broke, everybody in the block broke, but y'all can cut up on each other. Yo, look at your face, your sneakers are leaning. Yo, you can't afford a jumbo cheeseburger. Oh, I seen your moms give you the food stamps to the corner store.
You bald-headed.
You bald-headed, word.
You bald-headed.
They used to call me highlighter. He was like, you highlighter. You know what I'm saying?
My son was called Barney from Sesame Street. Is it Bernie? Bernie from Sesame Street. And then I was called Valley Girl growing up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They used to call me Keebler. And it's a funny story about that. And again, I'm telling my age.
Oh, my God.
They used to call me
I know
Keebler. You heard that name?
Yeah.
You heard about them calling me that?
I didn't heard they called you that, but I can understand why.
Hold on. Well, they used to call me Keebler a long time ago. I was a Carl Canai. And the year that Carl Canai came out with his version of the boot, and it had the Carl Canai metal plate on the side, I ran that boot. You ever had a piece of clothing that you love, and you just wore it all the time? But I wore those boots so much that they started to lean in the side, and everybody in the block, yo, your boot, the West Indians, your boot look like the Keebler Elf tree. Your name Keebler for now on. That's literally why they call me Keebler. I was getting dissed every time my mom go outside. You see your mom. I helped her with the groceries. You about to have a sibling. I would get cut on like that on a regular basis.
My age is gonna show a little bit, but not that I personally called somebody Gumby.
Your age,
but you know, back in the day,
I just said Carl Canai. We aged. We aged.
But the haircuts, Gumby was a turn.
And guess what? Guess what? The same people that diss us want to hit us up in text. Hit, hey sis, how you doing? It's been mad long. I just saw your page. I followed you. Block, delete. No, you
You know what it
dub
is?
me.
We had to go through that because we had to deal with that type of attack so that anybody outside of our community, if they attacked us, it wouldn't hurt so bad. We would know how to respond. We would know how to not react, especially since the stigma that's been placed on the urban culture as being angry and being aggressive. We had to learn how to take blows and do nothing. Yes, it built us. The generation is way, you should have put a few A's, way too soft. Absolutely. Bert. Yeah, Bert. I have a high up. My oldest is 21 and he'll be 22, right? My oldest will be 22 this year, and he had like the sides and the back shaved and little dreads on the top of his head. He said he looked like Bert. So yeah, definitely. He still gets it. What's going on? I hear nothing.
Mm-hmm. Little